Okay, find the quotient. Now we kind of went over this before. Okay, you have a fraction. You have to get the I out of the denominator. Again, here's how this is done. First off top, you just got one term, obviously. Now bottom, when you have a minus or plus, that means that's two terms. Okay. Then you multiply by a fraction that the top and the bottom are the same. Now it's all about the bottom. You just care about the bottom. You don't care what's on the top. When you have two terms, you have to make the plus a minus and put the same terms. Just a conjugate is what that's called. You multiply by a conjugate. And then the top's got to be the same because this actually is 1. It's equivalent to 1, so that's why when you multiply fractions there. Now that's one term, that's two terms. This is two terms, and this is two terms. So with two terms, with multiple terms, meaning more than one, you want to put parentheses. So on top, 1 by 2, that's two products to find, okay? So I go to the 5, and I times it by 5, and then I times it by negative 2i. Okay, then the bottom you have two terms by 2, or figure that out, sorry. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times negative 2i is negative 10i. Both those are simplified, okay? So you just have the 25 plus the negative 10i, or minus 10i. Now, the bottom's a different story. That's two terms by two terms. So that's going to be 4 products, because 2 by 2 is 4. So 5 to 5, 5 to negative 2i, then 2i to 5, and then 2i to negative 2i. So that's 25. This is negative 10i. This is positive 10i. And this is negative 4i to the second. Now the first three products are in the bag. But the negative I to the second is negative 1. So it's 4 times negative 1, which gives me negative 4. And that's now a constant. So I add 25 and negative 4. That would be 21. And then the i's cancel because they add to 0. Okay, next one. Top, bottom. Top has one term, but the bottom's got two. It's all about the bottom, okay? So when I'm multiplying up, if the bottom has 2, we make the minus a plus and multiply by the same two terms, but then that's the same, that goes for the top too. So it's 1, so again, the ones with 2 terms you want to put in parentheses. So it's 1 term by 2 terms. So 6 times 3, so that's 2 products we have to find. 6 times 3, and then 6 times 4i. So it's 18 and 24i. Okay, those are in the bag, so 18 plus 24i. Okay, at the bottom you got 2 terms by 2 terms. That's a FOIL. Okay, it means FOIL means 4 products we need to evaluate. Okay, so I take 3 times 3, back to the 3, 3 times 4i, and then negative 4i times 3, and then negative 4i times 4i. So this is 9, 12i, negative 12i. So these 3 products are in the bag, but the other one, negative 16i second, you're not out of the woods because you got to replace your I to the second with negative 1, which gives you 16. Okay. So 9 and 16 make 25, but then the i's cancel, 12 and negative 12, and now mission accomplished. I've eliminated the I from the denominator. Okay, next problem. We have 15 on top, 10 minus 3i on bottom. So 1 term, that's obviously 2 terms. So again, with 2, you want to parenthesize multiple terms. So the 2 terms on the bottom, I switch it to its conjugate. When I say that, it means same 2 terms, just with the opposite sign. And I put the same thing on top that I have on bottom. Okay, that's a 2 by 1, so it's just it's just two products. Both will include the 15 as a factor, times 10 times 3i. So that's 150, and that's 45i, okay? So that's your top, 45i. Or no, it does. I don't really care which one goes first, to be honest with you. Okay, it's supposed to be the constant first, but it doesn't matter. Okay. And the bottom 2 terms by 2 terms, so that's a FOIL problem. 2 by 2 is 4. Okay. Well, I mean 1 by 2 is 2. That tells you how many products you have to find. So 10 times 10, 10 times 3i. And then negative 3i times 10 and by 3i. So 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 3i is 30i. Negative 3i times 10 is negative 30i. So right away we know those are going to cancel. Okay, when you have a positive and a negative, the same thing. That's negative 9i to the second. But negative 9 times negative 1 then is 9. So we take 100 plus 9 and we have 109. Okay. Last one. 24 over 3 plus 8i. 24 over 3 plus 8i. So you multiply one term, 2 terms. Okay. So if there's 2 on the bottom, you need to put a parentheses, okay? And you need to multiply by its conjugate, which means I switch it to its minus, okay? Same 2 terms, just with a minus. And then I just bring that to the top. That's how you write equivalent fractions, is by multiplying the bottom by the top by the same thing as you have on bottom. Okay, that's 2 terms in, and that's 2 terms. So on top, we're finding 2 products. The bottom, you're finding 4. Okay. So 24 times 3, 24, negative 8i. So it's 72. 24 times negative 8 is negative 192i. So 72, and again, those are both in simplest form. You don't have, remember, you don't replace I with negative 1. That's I to the second. So you put 72 plus negative 192i. Okay, then that's the FOIL. 3, 3, 3, negative 8i. 8i, 3, and then 8i, negative 8i. So you get 9, negative 24i, positive 24i. Those can cancel. That's negative 64i second, which is negative 64 times negative 1, which is 64. And then 9 combined with 64 makes 73. My camera is about to die, so